Hello to you, good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live from our News Hub Studios here, number 35. John Hammond Street, my name is Noble Crosby, and the bulletin is also live on all our social media platforms, the TV3 Ghana. We're live too on DSTV, channel 279. Coming up in the bulletin this afternoon, senior high school selection process for this year's basic education certificate examination, and their candidate begins August 23. Also this afternoon, we explore issues about safety at our beaches in a detailed report. We bring you some international news as well, as 7 people have been killed after part of a mosque failed with hundreds of worshippers collapsed in Nigeria's northern city of Zaria. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. We're starting this after with news from the outfit of education, as the senior high school selection process for this year's basic education certificate examination candidate will start on Wednesday, August 23, according to the Ministry of Education. As a result, it has created an educational video that describes the criteria for school selection to offer clarification and direction regarding the school selection procedure. We'll be touching base with the Education Ministry shortly to engage on the modalities concerning this intervention for this year's school selection process and some challenges they faced in the previous years and how they intend to correct them going forward. But in the meantime, the minority in Parliament is insisting the government must seek parliamentary approval for any eventual troop contribution to the ECOWAS mission in Niger to reinstate the ousted president. Speaking on the key points, MP for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Defimekwa insists it is important for the government to seek the approval of the people's representative before taking any of such decisions. ECOWAS has agreed to mobilize its standby force this week, but has yet to decide whether troops will move into action. Here are excerpts from the contributions on the key points earlier today on the Nigerian coup and matters arising.
Leaders who are championing the interests of the French. There is an ultimatum from Burkina Faso. They denounce the double tax agreement, what they call the Donson Airport concession. The ex-president that was overthrown signed 30-year agreement, double tax for the airport, in the interest of the French government. We are talking about a situation where even onion that Niger will get from them, France will have to say that they don't want that. Do you know that the AFTA agreement, Africa trading among ourselves is just 18%? In Europe, it is 62%. So they trade more with France because unless France don't want something, that we can trade with them. But the borders we see in Africa, ECOWAS here, were all drawn from Berlin. We shouldn't have been having borders among us. We are brothers and sisters. So if our leaders meet and they're saying that, I listened to the president who was ousted. Yesterday, he said that he's being fed on dry rice. At least they are feeding him something. Do you know what the people of Niger eat?
Empirically, I don't think that the soldiers have done much better than the governments or the presidents that they replace. The rate of instability in that region has been raging for a while. And I think the root causes is what we should actually find out for. We could blame leadership. And I think that we shouldn't wait for some of these things to happen. I mean, especially with regard to ECOWAS as a regional body. We should try to intervene when they are, and intelligence gathering and all of that should be apt.
Soldiers in a lot of countries like Ghana, they are not ready to go to some of these places and die very unreasonable death. They won't. Today themselves will not be ready. Look, what is the status of ECOMOG? We should be evaluating the work ECOMOG has done. ECOMOG has not succeeded in preventing coups. So when it happens, the crisis happens, they even move in. What has been the evaluation? Okay. We should think of how to ensure that there's sanity in Niger so that the ordinary person walking the streets of Niamey will get food.
If one looks at the ECOWAS mechanism under which the standby force concept is located, particularly Article 28.1, it defines the standby force and then very clearly also establishes the processes for the generation of its force. It does not contemplate that the standby force is a regional army ready to be deployed immediately it is called. The standby force concept was meant for a civil war case. Let's say something similar to Liberia, Sierra Leone, at a point in time, La Côte d'Ivoire. So we are using the standby force for an operation for which it has not been established.
Now, away from that, Ghana's striking beaches have long been sought-after havens for both locals and tourists seeking respite from the sweltering heat. However, beneath the beauty and serenity lies a growing concern, a series of tragic incidents that have turned these paradises into perilous waters, particularly for children. A report by Christian Yali.
Over the past years, there have been innumerable cases of sea deaths in Ghana, making it a deadly point of no return for swimmers, especially children. I have come to Hafasni, a fishing community in the Jomoro municipality of the western region where such cases are often recorded. A breezy afternoon, heavy sea waves rolling up the shore, yet children are seen swimming their lives away with safety precautions thrown to the wind. These children are left at the beach site with no one monitoring them. Some of them drown and die. Unlike Hafasni, some beaches in the Greater Accra region are trying to keep visitors safe while they swim. The Labadi Beach often witnesses a lot of visitors, and lifeguards are positioned at vantage areas to ensure safety of revelers. A lifeguard here, Anang Ajete, who has done the job for over 10 years, explains the flag's sign.
The white flag shows the place where it's good for everyone to swim, and the rest show that the danger there. So if you go there, we have to bring you at the right side. We have to locate the place where it's good before people come in for swimming.
Labadi Beach has also had its share of drowning cases that have led to the loss of lives, but Anang Ajete raises concerns of children being most likely to drown at the sea when not monitored closely. He is willing to improve upon his skills professionally, to become a professional lifeguard to help his other colleagues in other beaches to avoid repetition of drowning cases.
We have a training from the people from America, ASLA. They came here and come and train me almost 5 years ago.
I wondered how they are able to tell which side of the sea is safe or otherwise for swimming.
It's the technique that we have. If you see the red zone, you see how the water is moving front, and the other one too, you see how it's moving. That's how we locate the place where it's good. It's our job, so we have to know the place where it's good for everyone.
His presence at the beach provides some level of safety, something many beaches in the region lack.
Oh, if someone is drowning, we use this board we have. So when we take it, we push the board for you. If you get it, then before we grip you and bring you back.
Most of these beaches are under the monitoring of district assemblies.
When we go to the beach, sometimes we hear of cases of people drowning, unfortunately. So one, in terms of safety, we need to have lifeguards at the beaches, but that has to be enshrined in policy. Maybe the local government should ensure that we have that.
According to the United Nations, drowning remains one of the main causes of death for children and young people aged between 1 and 24 years, as well as the third greatest cause of unintentional injury death, accounting for 7% of all injury-related deaths. In 2020, for instance, a World Health Organization report showed that the number of drowning deaths in Ghana reached 740, accounting for a 0.42% of all deaths. Aside from drowning, experts also fear the worrying health risks associated with swimming in the sea.
Sometimes people say there's a lot of salt in the sea, so even if the sanitation situation is not good and we bath and then that is all. Some of the effects could be skin itching And even in some cases, we have organisms that can cause pneumonia and even diarrheal diseases.
They need instructors who can instruct them to not to go here, not to bath over here. I can't see anybody around.
I think if there are guards to support the kids or supervise the kids in the sea, it will be better because they could easily get drowned.
If that sounds as a concern to the government, or if government is aware that there are some places like this, if they value the life of the citizen in the country, I think it's proper for them to provide safety at the beach.
Another ugly side is how pollution levels keep soaring at beaches, with what has become a perennial hurdle to jump. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Now, Ghana's new gaming tax is beginning to bite after at least one betting company stopped punters from Ghana from taking and staking on games. But 365 said on its app that it was suspending betting services to residents of Ghana as of August 14, 2023. Now, that is a day before the Ghana Revenue Authority begins charging the 10% on all bet winnings and 20% from the companies. In this 3 News Explained by Judith Alchitano and produced by Manati Aprum, we explore what the new gaming tax is about and why it is causing so much disaffection among betting patrons.
As Ghana continues to explore various means of saving itself from the current economic turmoil, it turns its direction towards the sporting and gaming sector. The grand plan of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is not to just tax betting companies, but the winnings from them. And so, from August 15, 2023, patrons of sports betting will pay a 10% withholding tax on gross wins.
For this, we expect each and every one to comply. Those in the sport betting, operators of other games of chance.
What this means is that whatever amount a bettor earns on a win, 10% is going to be deducted from source as taxed. Thus, the payers of these amounts to winners would withhold 10% of the gross winning, which will then be paid to the Ghana Revenue Authority as tax on behalf of the winner. Ghana's betting industry has seen tremendous growth over the last decade. You can say betting companies are reticent to discussing their businesses and issues openly. But insiders say on a good day, about 100 million cedis worth of bets can be staked. This makes betting understatedly a huge venture and makes it worth considering when discussing possible means of revenue for the country. Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Division at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Edward Apintin-Jamra, says the gaming tax is expected to rake in about 1.2 billion cedis at the initial stages of implementation and potentially more.
This is the initial stage of this policy. Going forward, the expected revenue is very high in a range of 3 billion.
And he's adamant betting companies will get in the way.
The obligation is on you to withhold. And if you fail to do that, you can be assured that your license will be withdrawn.
But what is the guarantee that we shall not have the case of the implementation of the e-levy repeating itself, where the country falls below expectations and estimates when it comes to revenue, looking at the fact that taxation could essentially influence the curves when it comes to business in sports betting sector? What are the elements that might have possibly influenced these estimates from the Ghana Revenue Authority?
Let's say you stake Betway and you win, let's say 2,000, then we'll give you the 1,800. That will be your winnings. Either two, you were getting the full 10. The law does not consider losses. And I think that that's the little disadvantage there, because somebody can stake several times before he will win some small amount of money.
Meanwhile, the new tax laws also affect betting companies who will be made to pay 20% tax on their revenue. Tax experts have said that the percentage is on the high side and further suggests that the taxes should be deducted from the companies instead of gamblers who are already risking their monies.
Under the old law, they were all subjected to 25%, but it was based on their profitability. Now we are saying that your gross stake, how much people have placed the bet, minus the payments that you have made, the winnings, then you are subjected to, 20% on it. I think it could be quite high because there are operational expenses that you've not considered in there.
The reactions to this new development so far have also been reflective of the diverse views on the matter. Many believe it is yet an additional burden on an already financially taxed population, and popular bet professional Enoch couldn't agree less.
Someone can lose more than 100,000 cedis without any compensation. No one would be like, we took 10% the last time, so today just take 5% of what we took the last time, reinvest it and bet again if you get anything. If it's that way, it's fine. If government can fund anyone's account 5,000 cedis that, bet, I'll take even 20%, I'll be even cool with 50%.
There are also those who are convinced that the move will help curb betting, which they consider dangerous to young people. Majority Leader in Parliament, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, is one of them. He says, quote, "I don't believe in betting. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work and sweating to get money. Let's be serious. As for me, I'm against betting coming into the country. I don't support it because it doesn't encourage hard work." Unquote. Those engrossed in it disagree.
Why should we stop betting? Are there jobs for us? They should create jobs.
We the young boys without jobs, we resort to this betting for our monies. I can't stop. I just don't know what will make me stop betting since I make profit out of it.
The timing of the implementation is curious and interesting. The tax is coming into effect as the traditional football season kicks in around Europe. It is these competitions that fuel the booming of betting business. The Ghana Revenue Authority will be hoping it will get their new, some say unpopular tax off to a good start.
Away from that to some other subjects in the arena of politics, Alan Kojo Tremonting is wrapping up his campaign tour of the Ashanti region today. He has so far met over 90,000 delegates. William Evans Inkum has followed the tour and has joined us for some updates on the activities of the flag bearer hopeful of the MPP presidential candidate. William, thank you so much for joining us. It must be an intensive campaign that the flag bearer hopeful has embarked in the Ashanti region. Tell us more about it.
Well, absolutely, it has, because meeting an excess of 90,000 delegates in a matter of, or in a space of 6 days, definitely it was quite comprehensive and also very tiring. But he's wrapping up today, and with the hope to reviving the base of the party and also his vision of rewarding loyal party supporters. But to some of the very political known figures who have been following his campaign tour, believe that he has what it takes to lead the party. Some are talking about tradition. Some are also talking about the fact that even though there are people who perhaps will not come out openly to support him, but they are doing that in clandestine. And this is what the former Zongo minister and Sly Tete, the member of parliament for English, Botiano Amanfro, has been or have been telling me.
John Ajekunkufu are products of 69 and 79. That's why we honored them. After the 69, we thought of 79, and that's how we honored Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo was a man who led the people's movement for freedom and justice. That was why it was given to Akufo-Addo. Today, we are going into the third phase, and that is the time for the products of 1992.
Those who have not come out publicly are more than those of us who have come out publicly. So clearly, let's leave them to their own conscience as to how they want to go about this. We are seeking for leadership for our party, and I'm convinced that 2024 flag bearer of MPP is Alan Kojo Tremonting.
So, Evans, that's the, if you like, levels of enthusiasm, if you like, concerning the Alan Tremonting campaign of the Ashanti region. But today he's wrapping up the tour. Talk to us about the constituencies he's visiting.
All right, so we're about moving from Manson Kwanta, and here he met Manson Kwanta and Manson Dibia constituencies. Now we're moving to Afrancho, where he's going to meet Efija Kwabri East and West constituencies. Then he will wrap up at the Cultural Center or Center for National Culture, where he will meet Bantama, Tafo, Swame, and Kwaraso constituencies. And that will be a wrap for him in the Ashanti region.
So, in general, what do you think their grade of their performance in the Ashanti region concerning the campaign would be? Well,
so Alan is somebody who is not very, one would say, stranger to the people of Ashanti region. If you look at his the votes that he's been able to amass, I mean, from 2007, it should tell you that he's somebody who has a lot of support base in the Ashanti region. I understand that after this particular campaign, I also understand that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is likely to come back to do a mop-up.
Right.
Interestingly, I also understand that Alan Kodeche Martin will also come back again and do a mop-up before 26 August.
Evans, thank you. Double mop-ups we'll be seeing maybe in the coming weeks. William Evans Inkum is Ashanti regional correspondent there. We're still talking about politics as the Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabinya, Sarah Adwoa said she will contest the MPP parliamentary seat again. She's convinced her constituents still love her and want her again, and she will not disappoint them, adding her chances of winning the party's primaries are very bright.
Sarah Adwoa for more than a year lost touch with her constituents, compelling the people in the constituency to complain about her long absence. Even the constituency party executives were upset. But the MP says she is back for good, adding that she has already met with some executives and constituents and explained to them reasons for her absence.
This is Greater Accra, and there comes a time where we celebrate Homowo Festival. So it's a religious thing that we always do, that we pay courtesy calls on all the chiefs in the communities and then wish them a happy Homowo, happy year, and ask for their blessings also. And the feeling I'm having now with the people that are coming out just to scream your name, just to have a handshake, I think I still have a lot to do for my people, and I have to take the pain to explain to them the reasons for my absence, and especially the mothers and the old ladies and the queen mothers are also mothers, and so they understand what I have been through and they sympathize, and I think we can bend the bridges and make a good contest for 2024 and retain this seat for the New Patriotic Party.
The constituents were happy to see their MP back.
We have seen her today. We are very, very happy to see her so that we can give her our needs for him to accomplish it for us.
I'm happy to see her because a very long time since we vote for her, I didn't see her. So today, if I'm seeing her, I'm good to see her. As for her, she have a chance. She'll win.
I appreciate their concerns because we all use the roads. And as I spoke to the chiefs, I've told them and promised them that we would facilitate for the construction of these roads.
The three-time MP, who on Friday visited the chiefs and people of some communities in her constituency, promised to settle issues with the constituency chairman and others who were against her.
My constituency chairman is a very fine gentleman, and I don't think that he's somebody who would ever doubt my candidature or my popularity in the constituency. Politics is a game of numbers. So I have met my constituency chairman and I have told him what I am telling you now. And I know at the right time he would have to also come in if he has to. Because if it's the will of God and the people want me, I will not desert them.
The former deputy majority leader says she will pick forms to contest the seat when the party opens nominations.
As we toured, you saw the enthusiasm, the happiness, and the good reception that I still have with my people. It tells me that I still have some goodwill in the constituency. So I will build on that. And definitely, when the time comes, I shall not desert my people. I shall represent them again by God's grace. I see my chances are bright, and I see that I have the experience, Experience is the best teacher, and I think that my people still love me.
Sarah Adwoa-Safo, who had absented herself from Parliament for more than 16 sitting days, was referred to the Privileges Committee. The majority side of the House wanted the Speaker to declare her seat vacant. Evelyn Tenkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, the Dom Kwabena constituency and Sarah Adwoa-Safo, they are of some grave significance. Let's speak with Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, a lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. The Dom Kwabena MP, she has had issues with her party both in Parliament and in the constituency. Now, she has said she would want to seek the lead of the party in 2024 in the constituency. She says the chances are bright. From where you sit, from the political lenses, what do you assess the chances to be like?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I think that it's legitimate for her to, position herself to contest again. That is, if the party is willing to accept her. Remember that they will go through screening for one who best suit the party for the next election. So if he qualifies, fine. And then let us also remember that he needs to be able to convince the people of the constituency that this time around, he will not let them down. He will not go without letting them know everything that happens to her and the rest of them. He has a whole lot of work to do, but yes, it's a democratic process. She cannot offer herself. But as to whether the people will accept her explanation is another thing. But from where I sit, my humble opinion, I would have asked her not to contest because I'm not sure he has been able to deal with all the problems that really push her into that difficult situation. If she has been able to overcome that, what is the guarantee that the next time around he's going to be around for his people and all that? Let us remember that constituents need their MPs at all times to take important decisions. And if you look at from the perspective of the party has been in pain relative to her absence because there were a number of bills that they wanted her to be around to push the bill through and all that. So it's a whole mix of factors that is going to weigh heavily about her coming into the party to contest for the next parliamentary election. So who knows? Maybe she can pull her way through.
It brings me to my next question, that the last MPP primary, she won, but very marginally against Michael Quaye Jr. Michael Quaye Jr. again might contest. Will she be able to do the magic this time around, repeating, if you like, a better win margin, or it will still be as marginal as it was in the last primaries?
Oh, that one, for your question, you need an empirical data to be able to conclude. But if I want to go on qualitative lines, then I would say that yes, looking at what transpired and the problem that the woman, because of her absence, left with the party and even the party members within the constituency, I have no doubt in my mind that Michael Quaye stand a bit tall than Adwoa in terms of the next election. But I must say that all these things are just qualitative analysis. But the real quantitative data it take on the ground will give us an inkling as to what the situation will be.
Dr. Asante, I'd like to thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Dr. Asah-Asante is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, talking about the Dom Kwabena Member of Parliament, Sarah Adwoa-Safo. Still in Parliament, the legislatures held its shortest meeting yet, executed key bills, but failed to pass the Proper Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. In the following report, Evelyn Tenkma takes a look at the highlights of the second meeting in the third session of Parliament.
Resumed work on June 6 and went on a break by August 3. The meeting, though the shortest, have seen 8 bills passed, a number of loans, instruments, requests for tax waivers, reports and statements made. The House resumed to a Supreme Court directive ordering it to expunge the name of James Gyakye Quayson from its records. But this has not been done, despite Quayson being re-elected as an MP. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, at the start of this meeting, also promised to ensure the Proper Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill was passed at all cost.
When you go to the queer Where somebody gets up to say that, me, I want to be like a cat. Me, I want to marry a dog. Then they take the person and the dog and go and wed. You say this is a human right, we won't follow them.
Well, that has also not been done.
We also have to look at subjective view in the bill and make sure that we remove every subjectivity in the bill. We must also try as much as possible to make sure that there is no ambiguity in the bill. These and many more are the proposed amendment by the committee to the bill.
The 69 bills review was not achieved, with the affirmative action and intestate succession bills still pending. However, 8 bills were debated, amended and passed, which included the Narcotics Control Commission Bill 2023, Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022, Armed Forces Amendment Bill 2022, and Whistleblower Amendment Bill 2023. The mid-year budget review was also presented by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. In the course of this meeting also, 2 MPs were sworn into office after by-elections were held. First was Yao Ernest Enim after the unfortunate death of MP for Kumewu, Philip Baswa, and the second was James Dachukwesen for Asin North. The House has since gone on recess and expected back sometime in the 3rd week of October. But it may not be rest and constituency work only during this break. The Speaker has asked members to be ready for a recall anytime, particularly for committees' work. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Parliament House.
Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has presented some emergency relief items to reduce victims of the floods in the Northeast region. The NADMO team was led by the Director General of NADMO, Eric Nana Ajiman Prempe, the Northeast Regional Minister, Zakaria Yedan, and MP for Walwali Hajia Lariba Abdu received the items for immediate distribution to the affected victims. The floods also affected large acreages of farmland, a situation the Northeast Regional Minister has warned poses a major security risk. 4 districts, West Mamprusi, East Mamprusi, Yonyo, Nusan, and Bunkpurubu, were affected by the flooding. According to an assessment report by the Northeast Regional Coordinating Council and the National Disaster Management Organization, several communities have been cut off and rendered inaccessible. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and we're back with more stories after the break. Please stay with us.
Ubedi Lotto Ghana Padia and one they were 539 direct, the best Lotto game in Ghana. You will hear say Ubenya with solid magic numbers. A free bako, equasi 39.
Wow! Director enough! Winning no each show!
Abran Edino, what the 2 Ghana cities pay and a 2 you. And to also call *446# across all networks. Ucha direct one. Ubedi 20 times Sika Udikayeno. Ucha direct tour. Ubedi 40 times Sika Udikayeno. And a direct train so Ebema with the 400 times.
A fuck! We no eat shot!
Kwame so Enedino. A fuck! We no eat choke! Hey! Direct to me China farmer me. We no the choke ampa. They were 539 direct. A fuck!
We no eat choke. Eat choke. Eat choke.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Pa! Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me. Papa chesena nya asem ketewa. Na me point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro. Mo meduro me fire no. Ene ma won kra me enu. Kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba.
Head everything yourself. Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. And then call endpoint. Omama nura and then why dear what me sorry anante.
That's endpoint for you. Acrobato. Hello. Hey, what check? Okay. A free bra with the endpoint what dance. I'm a choir no.
me Joseph Semane Nkoye, and Pastor my Emina, and a Magina Sabema. Now, me be here for the one in Jarisa.
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch homeopathy clinic. I'm free.
Manga wego.
Mekobuno.
This week on Ghana's Most Beautiful, join the contestants as they embrace the celebrations theme. Be ready to be inspired, moved and captivated by their heartfelt performances, paying tribute to Ghana's vibrant cultural celebrations that define its heart and soul.
Mama yakagbaphone call, na dada. But the dodaji le afanyigbanji.
Don't miss this extraordinary celebration live on TV3 this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eviction is looming. Keep your contestant in the competition by dialing *713*13# to vote or download the TV3 reality app to vote. GMB 2023, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soap, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubunawo Mwankasa, Dragnet, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its very existence and survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus our sharp lenses on child labor and trafficking in fishing communities to demand accountability and responsiveness from duty bearers. Join 3 Foundations advocacy for Ghana's fisheries recovery through missions compelling and captivating advocacy. Keep an eye out on TV3. This program is under the auspices of the Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity, funded by USAID, from the American people, live on News 360 and across all Media General social media platforms.
You're welcome back to the broadcast. Now, although the Bank of Ghana has defended the colossal loss of 60.8 billion cedis made in the 2022 financial year, blaming it on exposure to the government's domestic debt exchange program, the minority in parliament and some experts think otherwise. Let's hear some views from panelists on the key points earlier today.
It is the performance of the bank in the year 2022 that has become the subject of this topical matter. How do you, over the past 5, 6, 7 years, how do you decline from a profit-making entity to such a colossal debt-incurring entity in a matter of 12 months? That is what has shocked the conscience of the nation. And what are the figures? We have figures such as 60 billion loss in one financial year. You have a negative net equity of in excess of 55 billion Ghana cedis. People are worried. You have a banking supervision bill in excess of 381 million. You have a travel bill of 97 million. You have a computer repair bill of in excess of millions. You are further saying that your maintenance of vehicles is in excess of 131 million Ghana cedis. And in all this, you're also commencing the construction of a head office at the colossal amount of nearly 3 billion Ghana cedis. Dollar equivalent of $250 million.
It does say.
All right?
Yes.
So we are asking questions. And this is the year that you participated in the DD for the government. You championed it.
What do they take us for? You made the loss of 60 billion Ghana cedis, which is $6 billion. And out of that, the 53.1 billion are losses from the domestic debt restructurings from the government. And you are saying you need another money to go build a new office? Our elders said that when you owe, you don't eat sardine. Is that not what they said?
Thank you.
So if you are giving us a debt and you want to go, I will use that money. We've got our priorities wrong. We have children going to school carrying their own furniture. We have children going to school walking that this and that. They don't even have their own furniture. They don't even have school supplies. Sitting on the floor. And you want a new office when you are giving us a debt of this amount? Let's be serious in this country. I'm tired of this.
Well, government has concluded a new salary structure to remove members of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association (CLOGSAG) from the single spine salary structure. The new salary structure is expected to be implemented at the end of the month. Executive Secretary of CLOGSAG, Isaac Bampeawado, spoke with a Labour correspondent, Daniel Opoku in Accra.
The single spine pay policy, since its implementation in 2010, has faced numerous challenges, including market premium issues and allowances for categories 2 and 3. Organized Labour convened a meeting last year to address discrepancies which have still not been addressed. But the Civil and Local Government Staff Association (CLOGSAG) says it has concluded a new salary structure agreement with government, which will remove its member from the single spine salary structure.
Our salary structure too, it's not been touched. We have given them the proposals for the salary structure, which, as at August last year, we should have concluded. Implementation starts 1st January 2023. We are in August. Nothing has been done.
We asked the Executive Secretary, Isaac Bampeawado, whether this will not affect other public sector institutions on the pay policy.
We have agreed and sent our salary structure. We can call it anyhow, but we have our salary structure that was presented to Cabinet by the Civil Service Council and the Local Government Council, and it was referred to the Senior Minister to look at it.
So if they should implement this new salary structure, means that your members are now off the single spine salary structure?
Our members will have their salary structure.
Different from the single spine, though?
Well, we'll have our own salary structure. I mean, I don't know, we can call it anything we want to call it. That has been agreed. The important thing is that we have agreed with our employer.
In another development, CLOGSAG has notified the National Labour Commission about an intended action if government fails to pay fully its 20% neutrality allowance agreed in 2022.
We served notice to the National Labour Commission, who has also informed the Senior Minister that these are issues that are outstanding and that we think we better conclude them before anything happens.
Now, the National Service Scheme intends to deploy 500 personnel to its farms this year. This move is in line with its current resolve to deploy, retrain and provide employment opportunities for personnel and other deployment for employment mission of the scheme.
The National Service Scheme is currently cultivating over 8,000 acres of farmlands. There is also a 500-acre maize farm at Abutiakpota in the Volta region, a 400-acre maize farms in Damongo in the Savannah region, and Komenda in the Central region, and a 150-acre maize farm in Ijira in the Ashanti region. Kumeu Farm, also in the Ashanti region, which is an agro-industrial zone. The scheme is cultivating 5,000 acres of maize in addition to soya and rice.
I've learned how to grow maize, coconut, rice, soya beans, and they are now into aquaculture, that's catfish and tilapia.
I want the government to maintain us because those who are coming there, the national service, so that maybe we will supervise them, because now we have a lot of knowledge about field.
However, youth apathy towards agriculture has been the bane to the scheme's venture. The Executive Secretary reiterated the commitment of the scheme to provide hands-on job for personnel interested in pursuing agriculture as a venture.
We need to reposition ourselves to be able to become a real force to solve the unemployment situation in the country. That is why over the years, even though we have been in the agric industry, But this time round, National Service have gone into a high-scale commercial farming, mechanized commercial farming. Out of the 5,500 that we are earmarking to deploy, we will make sure we will deploy them very well. This time, they will not be deployed to the filling station and other places. No.
The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Brian Ichampong, who was on a tour of the Kumewu farms, gave an assurance of government support towards the project.
National Service has shown the way. The Ghana Cares program has also shown the way, and we are going to follow that module and to make sure that we have a lot of Ghanaians employed in the agribusiness sector, and also a project such that we are able to feed the population and export for our national development.
He gave a hint on the second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program.
The National Service is a pace setter, notwithstanding our PFJ 2.0 being launched. The agenda on PFJ 2.0 is that if we do it right, we can feed ourselves and we can feed the world. We definitely can do it.
The Kumewu project with animal husbandry, aquaculture and poultry intended to engage, retrain and provide employment opportunities for over 20,000 young people annually.
Media Live returns with more stories after this break. Please stay with us.
Senator Dr. Rasha Kelej and creator of Our Africa TV show.
All Africa will be part of our show.
The CEO of MAC Foundation.
We want to support girls' education. No to infertility stigma, yes to girls' education. We want to stop gender-based violence full stop. Number of child marriage will double by 2050.
Our Africa by MEC Foundation shows Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. and repeats on Mondays at 10:30 a.m. on TV3.
Show no, aye manya to say so manya, and aye chaka to say chakademos. What talk be belonchi and delay. Nani nyaya for fame no. Seriously, I be singing no crap because almost all brofo nye prempe brofo.
Brofo and this cabana meka. I nye brofo who be as ana meka.
It's all called public, restroom. Who you so male and female ladies. And don't you think yes, I will violate Emma because you have a male sex organ but you are using the ladies?
Oh, tell me I'm from it.
What a word you know a putoy and you need delay a putoy.
The Delay Show now shows on Sundays at 6 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Vodafone, Safari Tissues, Pepsodent, Yas Sanitary Pad, Delay Foods, Tabia Takum, Greatfield Ventures, Alisa Hotel.
You're welcome back to the program. Let's cross over to Owusu Afriyie for the latest in the world of sports.
Well, thank you so much, Noble. And to our first story this afternoon here on the sports segment on Media Live on TV3. Following the successful conclusion of the 2022-2023 season, Star Times has successfully reviewed its contract with the Saudi Professional League for 2 consecutive seasons from 2023-2024 to 2025 and 2024 and 2025 on the Anal Media platform and languages in the sub-region of Africa. Now, the Saudi League will be broadcast on August 11 on the 3 major platforms. African audience can also watch exciting matches of the top clubs, including Al Nassr, Al Ittihad, and Al Hilal through all Star Times platforms. General Manager of Star Times Ghana, Akofa Banton, explains her excitement.
So the world's attention has
shifted to Saudi with Cristiano Ronaldo going there last season. Now he's been joined by Sadio Mane, Koulibaly, and a myriad of others. And I know some more big stars will be moving in there. And so, for us at Star Times, we always want to bring you the best. And so we thought it wise to get this content for our subscribers. So this is good news. This is big. Like I said earlier, the world's attention has moved to Saudi. And so stay connected to Star Times and let's follow them.
Well, not some more stories, but shocking story though in the Women's World Cup, because co-hosts Australia reached the Women's World Cup semi-finals for the first time as they beat France in an incredible penalty shootout in Brisbane. Now, following the goalless 120 minutes, the Matildas triumphed 7-6 in the shootout, which defied belief, and it was dramatic with so many twists. Now, Australia will play England or Colombia. Will play England actually, because England also beat Colombia by 2-1 in Australia in Sydney on the 16th of August, and that should be a cracking game. England-Australia is supposed to be a big one in the Women's World Cup. Well, now, England captain Harry Kane has joined German champions Bayern Munich on a 4-year deal, ending his record-breaking career at Tottenham Hotspur. Now, the striker Super Cup game against RB Leipzig. The 30-year-old leaves Premier League club Spurs as the all-time top scorer with 280 goals in 435 appearances. Harry Kane was linked with a move to Manchester City in 2021, and his future had been uncertain this summer because he only had 1 year left on his contract at Spurs. Well, that's all the sports news this afternoon here on Midday Live on TV3. Entertainment news is up next.
In entertainment news this afternoon, the head of communications and special events at Musica, Daddy Bosco, says it is important for musicians to unite and work for the improvement of the union. Speaking on TV3 New Day, he said that electing substantive leaders will help solve Musica's problems.
Just last year, we did two capacity building programs with support from South Africa, Music in Africa Live. I'm just saying this to show that the union is moving in a certain line. And it's important everybody comes on board. We go have the elections. The members decide who will be their leaders. We have substantive leaders so that the union moves on. For some of us, it's pretty unfortunate. And I think this will be the last time we'll be in court, God willing, and we will.
I hope so. But you talk about all the things that Musica is doing, and you listen to musicians, and they constantly complain that they don't think that Musica is actually doing what it has to do to seek the welfare of musicians. I've heard Ohima Messi even say that even if you bring Jesus Christ to lead Musica, the issues will never stop. There's an inherent problem, which is why even for elections, we've not been able to conduct that up until this point.
What I'll say is that there's unity in strength. And it's important that musicians work with their union to improve it. No human institution is perfect. It takes people to build. And one of the things that pains me is that people who should be interested in developing the union show a certain degree of apathy. And that's one of the challenges that we're hoping will be cured when we have substantive leadership here.
I see.
In international news this afternoon, 7 people were killed when part of a mosque failed, with hundreds of worshippers collapsed in Nigeria's northern city of Zaria in Kaduna State, with several others injured. Zaria Emirate Council spokesman Abdullahi Kwabai said the incident occurred as hundreds of faithful observed afternoon prayers on Friday at the city's central mosque. State officials said the mosque was constructed in the 1830s. 23 people were sent to hospital, the State Emergency Management Agency said. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani ordered an immediate investigation into the disaster and promised to assist those affected by the heartbreaking incident. In more international news, the United States top diplomat has reiterated his great concern for the well-being of deposed Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum, the Nigerian president, after a coup on July 26 resulted in his removal from power. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken held a telephone call on Friday with Bazoum's predecessor, former President Mahamadou Issoufou, to talk about the deteriorating conditions the embattled leader faces. Bazoum is being held in the presidential palace in Niamey, Niger's capital, alongside his wife Hadiza and one of their children, Salem. Niger's coup leaders have faced international pressure to restore Bazoum to power, and the Economic Community of West African States on Thursday reaffirmed that it is willing to engage in the use of force as a last resort. Before we take a look